Hello and welcome to the Gambling Files podcast, the podcast that is drying a towel on the door behind the host. Of course, if you're just listening and not watching on our YouTube channel, then that's kind of redundant. I'm one of your hosts, John Bruford. We are not joined by your other host, Fintan Costello, today. He's hosting some podcast about being really, really successful. It's good that one of us is. We like to think that we bring the full spectrum of the human experience with each episode. He is actually on holiday, and I don't doubt that he has very much earned it. But it is also true to say that, now just bear with me 1 second while I just get this thing up in front of me. That sounded a little bit rude, didn't it? Fintan's new podcast has gone live, which is quite cool. I mean, I'm not saying that, that the episode, I'm not saying that Fintan's podcast is cool. I'm saying it's cool that it's gone live. So Fintan's podcast is called True Wealth Show. And the first episode is him and his co-host, Anthony and Monica, sitting down with Steve Varsano, a chap who basically sells corporate jets to people and explains how it can save you 30 days a year of your life. And I got to say, as sales pitches go, that's a fucking good one. So check out Fintan's new podcast. It is the True Wealth Show. And to find Fintan, I do love they've done a really sexy sort of corporate photo shoot, and Fintan's co-host is looking quite serious, and Fintan's hair, it's just his undoing. I'm not saying it's Sideshow Bob, but it's close. Anyway, check out Fintan's new podcast, True Wealth Show. Luckily today I'm joined by a guest, otherwise it would just be me wittering on. And I'll come to the guest in a moment, but first I have to read a few words out from our sponsors. Our sponsors include the glorious Optimove. This episode is brought to you by Optimove, the creators of positionless marketing and the #1 player engagement solution for iGaming and sports betting operators. Contact Optimove, get a demo. We always say this, but we say it because it's true. Get the demo, learn how positionless marketing is going to change how your team operates. There's a reason why they're the #1 CRM software provider in iGaming. It allows granularity, personalization of CRM campaigns. You can dynamically change casino lobbies and bet slips, create engaging gamified experiences. You can learn more at optimove.com. And if you tell them that we sent you, they give you a month free in your first year. Can't say fairer than that, can we? But it's also fair to say that today's episode is also brought to you by Gaming Laboratories International. GLI is a world-class testing, inspections and certification company committed to delivering the highest quality land-based lottery and iGaming testing and assessment services around the world. GLI provides suppliers, operators and regulators with expert guidance for navigating the future of gaming and ensuring gaming innovations meet regulatory standards with confidence in more than 710 jurisdictions. And that's a lot of jurisdictions. For more information, visit gaminglabs.com. But, my esteemed guest, there's also World Gaming, formerly known as Clarion Gaming, organisers of ICE. And ICE, do you know what? It seems like it's far away, but it's 5 months. And yeah, make sure you're there, because we'll be there. And we'll be having fun. Yes, we will. Although Fintan will probably be doing businessy things. I'll just be gadding about. I'll be swanning, strutting the floors. ICE is, as anybody that's ever attended knows, the premier event in the gaming calendar, both land-based and iGaming. And it's in Barcelona. And if the worst thing that you do next year is spend 3-4 days in Barcelona for work, then what a great year you've had. So those are our beautiful sponsors, and they do actually make all of this possible because we put out 3 podcasts a week, and it takes time, and it allows me to spend the time on those things. And writing scripts for things like this, because every word of this is scripted and rehearsed to within an inch of its life. Today's guest, I'm not going to say he needs no introduction because I'd never heard of him before. So I would be lying in a big way. But
I
we
need
are
all the
joined.
introduction I can get.
And that's a real accent, by the way. He's not faking that. He's not trying to sound like. I'll try and use some Americanisms here. He's not trying to sound like some kind of yokel or rube. That's his real voice. We're joined by, and I shouldn't take the piss out of you, Ryan, because you're almost certainly a lot smarter than I am.
No, no, no. That's born and bred, man. That accent is earned.
Could you say y'all?
Y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all. It's a softer A than you're giving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again?
Y'all. You got to go up on the A. Y'all.
Y'all.
And then land hard on the L's. Y'all.
Y'all.
There you go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
I sound like Reverend Skinner. Today's sermon. So we're joined by Ryan Robey, who is the founder of Staicy.win. Now, that's not all that you do, Ryan. We're going to come to all of this later. You are also a trial lawyer in Kentucky. So Staicy.win, Staicy.win.
Yes, sir.
What's with that spelling?
Well, the basis of what we wanted to build was harnessing the power of AI to go through hundreds of millions of different data points and possibilities. So we wanted to put AI right in the name, and so that's why we stuck an I in the middle of Stacy there. Otherwise, it's just the woman's name, Stacy. That's whenever we started, it was a AI agent named Stacy. It was a female that basically was able to go live and give picks. We've evolved over the last 18 months. We've dropped the agent, became a software, but we kept the name, and I'm glad we did. It kind of makes us stick out from all of the prop edge winbets.com of the world.
Okay. So Staicy.win, you've said a little bit of what you do, but what's your bread and butter?
Yeah. So at Stacy, what we've done is went and got the best stats, the best stat feed in the world, the best data in the world, and we had a team of devs and quants start building models. We hired a professional handicapper to come in to oversee it all, because while AI is very, very good, we all see the power of AI every day. It does allow us to process hundreds of millions of data points where otherwise we could not. We take all of that, we take the professional handicapper, and we build models that run all of the data that we have and give the best predictive outcome of what's going to happen today. We use those analytics to go check the Vegas lines and the Vegas odds. We come up with our fair lines and fair odds for every player and every game and every stat category. And we look for edges, and we identify where maybe Vegas is lagging behind, or Vegas is missing something that we were able to catch because we have that computing power. We have a subscription. People join the Stacy community, and you have full access to everything. That's our bread and butter. We give predictions, and they're the best in the world.
So hang on a second. So just a little bit of what you described there. Is that oh shit, I can't remember the word now. Fuck. Begins
Beautiful,
with A.
is that the word you're looking for?
No, that begins with B. Something betting.
You talking like aggregate betting?
No.
Okay, because we're not that, so that's good.
That thing where you're basically looking for slight pricing errors, and it means that you can balance, leverage one bet against another effectively.
Yes, you're talking about like what Odds Jam would do, where they're looking for arbitrage betting. That's the word you're looking for.
Yes.
yes.
That's the one.
Yes. You can use our system to arbitrage bet. The difference is with arbitrage betting, you're betting both sides. You find basically a way in the market to bet on one side on one sports book and the other side on the other that guarantees yourself some margin of profit. You could use our site to do that because we have 20 sports books that are on there. But our bread and butter is pregame player props and game bets. Saying, look, Paul Skeens is going over 6.5 strikeouts today. Here's why. Here's the numbers, and we're looking at everything. I mean, there's 1,500 data points that go into pitcher strikeouts, but everything from weather to barrel rate of the seventh hitter in the lineup that he's facing, stuff like that. So we're looking for the edge when, say, Vegas's line is 6.5, and they're giving you plus 105 on the over, and we think the over ought to be minus 160. That's the edge we're looking for. That we're getting value in that pick. We identify those. We rise the cream to the top. Any given day in MLB, we get 1,700 picks, something like that, 1,700 predictions, I should say. And of those 1,700, maybe 60 that have a slight edge or better. And so we're literally rising the cream to the top, ignore the rest. And then of those 60, let's go in together. Let's find the ones that we're going to get after.
Okay. Where is your information coming from?
So the data comes from a lot of different spots. Whenever we built this thing out, we had Sport Radar data feeding in to our algorithms. There's a handful of sites now that all do really, really well in this new world of taking the data and putting it into APIs for companies like ours to go subscribe to and do what we want with. I can name probably a dozen of them, but the big ones you've heard of.
We've got time.
Okay, I mean, you got Sport Radar is the big one, and then you got BetStamp is where we go get all of the various betting lines from Vegas. They're really good. If you haven't went to BetStamp and checked them out, they get all of the data in from the sports books. They keep it as live as anybody. Sports Game Odds is also good for that. And a couple of the sites are now wanting to feed lines directly because they want that exposure. They think they have the best lines in the world. They're willing to give these companies APIs directly into their sportsbook numbers, so they rise to the top. If they're going to come into this world and compete with DraftKings and FanDuel and Kalshi, even now as a real player in the game, they got to do something to get their name out there. And so they're willing to give better lines on some of these games, kind of like the new casino in town has hot slots to try to get people in the door and talking. These places do it the same. So we put them all up there. We're operating in the United States, so we try to cater to the ones that are legal here in the U.S. And we, of course, have this huge prediction market push as well. So, of course, we offer Kalshi, No Vig, Polymarket, those sites. But all of that data all gets, there's 20 different sites that all comes from. We distill it down, put it into the form that we've recognized after running model after model. This is what works. And then we produce that in a very easy to digest way for the end user. So you don't have to spend, 8 hours a day figuring out which Yankee you want to bet on to get a hit. We do it for you.
Okay. Is there any and I don't think you've touched on this already, but you Kentucky people, you talk quick.
I've never been accused of talking quick. Now I've been told to speed up. It takes too long to get through a sentence.
There are a lot of words in there, though.
A lot of words. That's a lawyer in me.
Is there a point at which there is like human oversight on this and somebody going, I can see where the data's pointing there, but I kind of think because I always think data's great, but data is the past. And
yes, absolutely.
it's a pattern that may or may not apply to future events, and I wonder, like, people really respond to people.
Yes,
Do you have like a human jockey on there as well?
we do. We do. His name is Chris Hatfield. He's our professional handicapper. His job title at Stacy is Chief Odds Analyst. He oversees all of it, and so whenever, what was it? A couple weeks ago, he noticed that we were skewing high for some reason on MLB team total overs for home teams, right? And the way we're set up is the modeling runs every day. We get all of these predictions, and then at the end of every day, the model goes and gets the results and says, how did it do today? What is it that we're missing? What is, are there blind spots? Is something changing? Here in the U.S., I wouldn't call it big. There is a known change in the baseballs. They changed the baseballs around the All-Star break. And so you have to re-update your model because now they're playing with different balls than they were 6 weeks ago, right? And so he keeps his eye on all of that and gets a weekly report from the AI engine saying, this is what we're slaying at. This is what needs help. And where the AI helps him is it goes in and it can identify over this huge span of games and micro data. If you tweaked this and this, you would have hit 58% ROI. Instead, you hit 51% ROI because you didn't tweak it. Try tweaking it. He looks at it, goes in, and you're exactly right. The human element, I think that gets lost a lot these days with AI. A lot of companies I call now, it's an AI agent on the phone. You go online, it's sterile. You can't communicate with these companies.
Don't fucking get me started on that.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. And so we took AI, harnessed the power of it, and then put a team of dynamite professionals around it to give the human element. I'm the first one that gives out my cell phone number to people that are in Stacy. If you need something, you text me. We're in a chat all day on the app talking. But you're spot on. If people just wanted AI, they go to ChatGPT. They'd go to Grok. The issue with large language models like that is they want to be the best at everything. We just want to be the best at picking bets to give people. And so we custom built an LLM that does that. And then we put a bunch of humans around it. We make sure the guardrails are up, and then we get to cooking.
Okay. Bear with me, just making a couple of notes.
Sure.
Yeah, it does happen. People that listen to this podcast may be surprised. So, are you one of those Dynamite team members? Are you describing yourself as Dynamite?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I'm definitely dynamite. But I was talking about the other team members we have. Chris Hatfield. He does this for a living.
He's your odds dude?
Yeah, he's our odds dude. Jesse Spalls is our operating officer. He's a double tour Marine veteran and firefighter in Boston. There's not really a pressure situation that he's not going to be able to handle, right? Russ Nada is our delivery guy. He's done this twice over. Was able to have two very good exits, and he came out of retirement to do this with us because he believes in it that much. Our dev team, I mean, they're everyone that I've surrounded. I work with enough goobers during the day in the courthouses that I wasn't going to surround myself with goobers in this world. So we have the best team in this industry.
Appreciate the use of the word goober there. I'm a big fan of that word.
I don't know how PG this podcast is.
Yeah. Anybody that's listening right now knows this is not PG. I've censored one word. I bleeped one word because we do have a lot of American listeners. And we had a guest who was just glorying in that particular word. And so I bleeped one word, and I did edit out a joke once because I made a joke about Nazism as a failure in marketing.
And you self-censored.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah, even I think I've gone too far there.
So just one step too far.
Yeah, but out of 270 odd episodes, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Oh,
MLB would be the best hitter ever.
we did have, there were two other censoring moments as well. One was a guy who was having a legal issue with somebody, and he'd mentioned them casually in there, and there had been some trouble there before. And the other was I mentioned a this is really this is awful. I mentioned I don't even know how I came to this in the conversation, but I mentioned a book which is a guide to it's a guide to self fisting, and and I just dropped it into this conversation. I'm like, no, it's a real book. And he contacted me a few days later and he's like, could you just take that bit out? And I thought, his parents are probably going to listen to this, aren't they?
No, leave it in for me. Leave it in for me. You could let it fly, man. It doesn't bother me a bit.
Yeah, I'll be like, thanks, Mrs. Robey, for letting your son join us today. That's great.
Yeah. No, I don't think my mother is dropping any money on the Vlad Guerrero total bases over today. I think we're okay.
1 second, Ryan. Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
May I open the door?
Why?
Yes.
Okay, open the door.
Okay.
We have a guest. Does this make me your co-host?
Hey,
Hi.
what's up?
Nothing.
Told you I was recording the podcast at 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm recording the podcast. So what can I do for you?
Can I play Fortnite yet?
Hell no.
Why?
You're only 5.
No, I'm not. I'm 9.
I say get him on.
Difference.
Let's
You're
talk.
7.
9.
He's 7.
I'm
I say
9.
bring him on. Let's talk sports with him.
No, he doesn't want to talk sports.
Ah,
9.
No, you can't play Fortnite
Why?
because you're too young.
Oh.
Joe was also too young when he started playing it. Anyway, Al,
What?
regardless, you wait until I finish recording and then ask me afterwards. Have kids, they said. It'll change your life. Nobody
it'll
ever
be
said.
great. They said. It'll
No,
be
I
great.
realise now, nobody said it'll change your life for the better. They always stop at it'll change your life.
You'll see things differently. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll miss sleep.
Sleep's a thing of the past. I got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, man. Sleep's a thing of the past.
Yeah. To be fair, all of my kids, all 3 of them, have slept through the night since they were 6 weeks old.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
And
haven't run
they still do
wind
now.
sprints during the
They
day.
all-
What's the trick?
They all love sleep, and I've always encouraged it. I've always been like, I always say, like, sleep is awesome. I'm going for a nap, kids. Shut the fuck up for a while. That kind of thing, just like so that they see sleep as valuable as I see sleep. I'm like, yeah, this is just the business, isn't it?
And
So
that
if they don't
little,
get like 9 or 10 hours, they're all like, no.
and that little half shot of bourbon you gave them before bed helps a little too, right?
Half shot. They've each
Fair,
got a bottle
fair.
next to their bed.
Start them young. Start them young, man.
I'm just teaching them responsibility.
That's right. That's right. You're gonna have to
Now
deal
they
with this.
know if they have too much, they'll be sick.
That's right. If you want to succeed in college, you got to be ready to wake up with a bottle next to the bed.
You mentioned that you have you give out your number to people. Yeah, text me if you want something. Has anybody sent you a dick pic yet?
Not yet. Did have one guy, in the U.S. I don't know if it's like this over there, but in the U.S. There's certain states where everyone wants to register their company. You here you become a Delaware corporation. It's what you do. Now Texas is fine. We won't get into that, but you're a Delaware corp. Whenever you register in Delaware, there's whole companies that they give you a mailbox and they receive your mail and pass it on to you. So you have your Delaware address, right? I had a guy calling me just nonstop. I just kept looking. I didn't recognize the number. I was in court and finally started texting me, I'm at your office. And I thought he was at my law office. And so I texted my secretary. No one's here. So I texted him back and said, "Where are you?" He said, "I'm at your mailbox in Delaware. I want to talk. I want to talk about the company." I'm like, man, that is not an office where I can meet you. I will call you later. But we went on and on and on. He thought for sure that I was going to be standing next to that mailbox, just waiting for the post guy to come.
That's
But
mildly
that's the
disturbing.
strangest interaction I've had.
I used to work on adult publications, and I can guarantee you their communications are stranger than anything you can possibly imagine.
You've lived a life there. I think we need to do an episode on that.
As I like to say, I'm just really old, and once you've been a bit around the block this many times, you know, you're bound to do some stupid shit, aren't you?
That's right. That means 1 out of 270 is even better, man.
So is the main revenue for Staicy in the subscriptions? Is that where you make your money, or are you also making the bets?
I personally make the bets. Never use Staicy money, of course, to make the bets. We don't have a fund set up or anything like that. I'm not even sure that'd be totally legal in the U.S. to use business funds to gamble, but we don't. Our major stream of revenue, to answer your question, is the subscription model. We charge. We give people 7 days totally free. Come in. We don't even take a credit card. Come in. You have full access to everything we offer you, because I want to prove it to you. I'm the first one to tell you there's a ton of people out there that are giving picks away for free. You know, they're vibe handicapping basically. If you prefer them, use them. I want people that see the value in our product. So 7 days totally free, and then we charge $199 a month after that for full access to the platform. The average bet, I learned a lot when I got in this industry. The average bet in the United States is $52. And most of those people are betting daily. So I always tell people, look, you win 4 more bets than you otherwise would. You've paid, well, I guess 2 more than you've paid for our service for the whole month. But our value is a whole lot deeper than that. But that's a very, very long way of answering your question. Our major source of revenue is subscriptions.
How many subscribers have you got?
Oh, not many. We're not even marketing yet. We haven't spent a single dime on marketing.
How have people found you then so far?
Yeah, so we started off in crypto 20 months ago. Started off as a fun crypto project amongst friends. And, when you're in crypto, you get with the people that own the same crypto tokens as you, and you end up in Telegram chats. That's kind of where crypto lives, Telegram and Discord. And we had a little side chat. I say little, there's 100 guys in there. And you get to know these guys over time. And one of the guys in there, he's actually a patent attorney in Pittsburgh. He started a AI agent on this site called CreatorBid, where he just wanted extra bonus points for creating an agent. He wanted nothing to do with it. New attorney, didn't want any issues with the bar, stuff like that. The community thought it was a great idea. AI agents were just blooming at the time. We said, let us take it over. We took it over. We did a full token raise, all that fun stuff that you do in crypto. Ran through the heyday. We ended up on stage down at the Wall Street Bets conference in South Beach. And then the U.S. government, in all their glory, put out some new guidance that essentially said the way that we were going to operate was going to violate securities laws. And so I said, look, we're not going to do that. We're shutting the crypto side down. We'll take care of the people that own the crypto token, but we're going to operate as a real business. So about April of this year, we shut the crypto side down, kept the quants and devs building. That took them 16 months to fully build out these models. That's how much work went into it. We're launching for football season this year. Our first marketing dollars will be spent on football, NFL. I say football, NFL, American football. I saw you just getting. I saw it in your eyes that I was about to be pounced on. Yeah. So we're about 3 or 4 weeks out. we have a couple hundred subscribers or something like that right now. But a lot of those came from the crypto side. They've known us for years. No one out there in the wild, so to speak, that's seen an ad because we haven't put them out yet in there. Those go live in about 3 weeks. We're excited for it.
That is pretty exciting. Although from the time that people hear this, that'll be in like a week.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So they're hearing a ghost of the past talk to them.
Yeah, this is like data.
I love it. I love it. Exactly. That's right. And you're the human interacting with it to make sure that the guardrails are up.
I'm the agent in the matrix, unfortunately.
That's right. Yes. Absolutely.
That's really that's pretty exciting. That's kind of like you're just about to, but I mean, where you're launching into, every aspect of betting in the US is wildly competitive.
Yes.
I know you're saying to me like, look, we got the best team in the business, we got this, we got that, but like, what is fundamentally, when you start that marketing drive, what is your USP? What's your actual point of difference to bettors out there?
2 things. One, we're the only site that I'm aware of that posts every single pick, every single result, win or loss. We keep a running total. That's going to be accessible to everybody. These sites that claim that they go 90%, 92%, 75%, they're just lying. The data is going to be something that sets us apart because we're not shying away from the fact that we have a 9 or 11% ROI in a given month. A lot of people don't realize that the professional bettors, the ones that quit their jobs, move to Vegas and do it professionally, they're looking to get 3 to 5% ROI in a year. So if we're twice as good as the best in the world, I'll take it without an apology, right? The second thing that's going to set us apart, aside from being able to show our results, is our community. You and I briefly before that, people that think that there's a lot of prep that goes into these things and that I have a list of questions that he's going to ask me, you're wrong, right? We introduced ourselves to each other about 6 minutes before we started, and I very briefly told him, look, what sets us apart is we're building a community around this. And, I firmly believe this. The reason that people go to sports bars and the reason that people go to games is not because they have this burning desire to go spend money to do something they could otherwise do for free. They do it because they love community. You go to a sports bar because you want to watch the game with other people. You go to a game because you want to be surrounded by that atmosphere. When you're at a game, and let's use soccer for an example to get your juices flowing over there. When you go to a game and there's a goal scored, the first thing you do is turn to the guy to your left, slap hands, guy to the right, slap hands. You're hugging people. You're spilling beers on people. You might kiss somebody. Who the hell knows? Depends how many beers you've had. That's the communal aspect of sports. Sports is the one thing maybe left in this world that brings people together. It doesn't matter where you work or what you do or what you believe. You're there for a common purpose, right? Where these big sites miss, the ones that exist in this market, is they have no finesse. Do they have the money to pour in? I mean, we're 7 figures into building what we've built, right? These sites have the money to build it. They just don't have the finesse to do it. There's not going to be humans on the other end. They're putting out numbers. They're layering it with banner ads. They're hoping they get impressions to sell more ads. They don't give a shit if the picks hit. The dudes that actually do give a shit if the picks hit don't have the money, infrastructure, devs, team to build something like we've built. And there's nowhere out there that says, look, we are going to give you the modeling. We're going to give you the picks, and we're going to put the community front and center to where whenever it's 7:00 in the United States on what's today, Tuesday, on a Tuesday night, there's going to be MLB on. You want to get on and talk about the game with people. We're watching to see if Bryce Harper's going to get over 1.5 total bases tonight. We've all got money rolling on it. And you make friends in the process. We've had people meet up to go out for beers that met through our platform. That is what differentiates us from the other 1,000 sites that just churn picks, and they're sterile. They pay influencers to go online, act like they hit big tickets. Once that star burns out, they shut it down. They open up a new one under a different name, rinse and repeat. And they just do it over and over and over. We're connecting people. I think that there's nothing stronger in this world than community. It's the reason people join country clubs, the reason people join dinner clubs, fraternities. People are willing to pay a premium to be part of something. And that doesn't exist out there, and we wanted to invent it. And so that's what we've done.
Okay.
Fair enough, right?
So you were operating, but not in a big way all through the World Cup. Did you have any?
Yes.
Did you have any successes within the World Cup? Because it was a wild World Cup for results.
Yes, yeah. Chris Hatfield, who we've talked about, his specialty is soccer, and so we were in for a treat. He, it's not rocket science, but he had us all bet Spain before the tournament started, about a month before the tournament started. Spain to win it. Player props, it was just about every other game. We were hitting a plus 400 on a goal scorer or an assist down line. World Cup was a blast. The funnest part about it for me was we're probably 90% American right now. And it's Americans learning soccer rules as we go. And, everyone thinks we hit a bet, and then all of a sudden you don't hit the bet. Somehow if you shoot a ball and it hits the fucking crossbar on the goal, it's not a shot on goal somehow. I'm still mad about it if you can't tell. But fun stuff like that. We all learn together, and we have Europeans learning the rules of baseball. Why is it called a walk and a run if neither of them involve walking or running, right? So
there was people historically have been disparaging about American soccer fans.
yeah.
But I had an experience, and it would have been 2015, I think. Hang on. Do you know what? I'm going to have to look this up. Hang on. It's a good job Fintan's not here, because he winces when he hears me typing. It's like, Jesus Christ, how can you treat your keyboard that way?
That's what we call proof of work.
Yeah, broken keyboards. So it would have been early 2016 or spring 2016. Okay. I was in Las Vegas, and I was just doing some work stuff, and I was there for like a week. And there was you get jet lag when you're there, and I was awake at like 3 a.m. and I knew that there was a Leicester City game on. And Leicester City had been surprising everybody, and they were at the top of the Premier League, and everybody's like, will they do it? Can they do this? I mean, it was such a long shot. It was just absurd.
I remember that year, yes.
And they were playing great football. And I went to the sports book. I can't remember where I was staying, like maybe Bill's or somewhere. I don't know. Okay. And I went looking for somewhere that would have the game on, and nowhere had the game on. But I found a TV in like just a little public area with some seats, and it was showing the game. There's nobody around it, just this little dead zone of this resort. And I sit down and I just watch the game. And people noticed that I was there. Some bloke, he's there, he's watching something. They look up, holy fuck, it's the Leicester City game. And next thing you know, I'm surrounded by Americans. And they all know their stuff. They all really know their stuff. Not just like they've just learned it. These are proper fans. But also, every business I went to while I was in Vegas, every single business I went to, somebody would say to me, do you think Leicester City can do it? And it was like, it's so rare for those stories to happen.
It is.
That it just captured the imagination of the world. And it was just glorious. But it was so lovely to meet so many Americans who were passionate about football and were really fully, properly engaged because of this wild story coming out of nowhere. And if you had to say something similar in the World Cup, it would be Cape Verde.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. I mean, I
taking
I was
Argentina
in
to extra
downtown
time
Lexington.
and sorry, Ryan.
Yeah, Lexington, Kentucky. I was walking around and restaurants had turned on the game, and to your point, people crowding around the windows just watching in there. Right, a game that again they probably had no idea Cape Verde was in the World Cup before that. Right, and I do think the World Cup, having it here in America, I see people already talking about, hey, European soccer fires up in a week, right? Like they're excited to bet those games. It might be because they're degenerates and it's on at 7 a.m. in America and we get to start off the day betting. I don't know, but we're excited for it.
But and I think this is a key difference. Um, Football, rugby, yeah, most of the sports that are big in Europe, we have a much longer season than most American sports. You know,
Right.
like the football season is like 8 months, 9 months.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
it goes August to
When I was
May.
building this thing, I had to ask. I said, when does EPL and La Liga and all that? When does it start? And I was told, basically August. I said, when's it end? And they said, well, maybe May. I was like, wait, that's a very, very long season. It's longer than baseball here. But I think that helps. It will help keep Americans' attention, because I do think that there is a bit of a movement, at least in the American betting community, to put more of an eye towards soccer. I think that the constant play, not a lot of breaks in play. It's 45 minutes, whether you like it or not. There's no timeouts. I think that people enjoyed that. There's a couple rules we don't like. The one thing Americans love to do is watch a sport for the first time, and it's existed for hundreds or maybe 1,000 years, who knows, and they want to fix it. All right, they've watched it twice, and we're going to fix PKs, and here's all the ways you can make it better. But I do think it'll be really interesting to look at the handles at the end of this upcoming European season, and even MLS, because I see a lot of people betting MLS now, and just see how much those went up following the World Cup.
Yeah, my co-host Fintan, I've been saying to him for over a year, like this World Cup is going to be big in America,
Yes.
because it is like people don't, sort of non-fans, non-football fans don't really get that what it's like to have a country's supporters descend on your city. And I think
And we ate it
Boston
up.
found that out.
Yes, Boston found it out. That's where
Boston had the
Jesse and Russ are.
Scottish.
Yes, yes.
And the Scots are legendary football supporters. They're just friggin' happy to be there. They're going to drink you dry. There was a report, and I don't know how true this is, but there was a flight going over to the US, and the Scottish supporters had drunk the flight dry within less than 30 minutes.
So I'll do you one better. I told you our team, Jesse and Russ, are up in Boston. And St. Patrick's Day is like, it might as well be Christmas times 10 up there. It is. They shut the city down. Everyone goes and drinks. And bars that have been operating for decades up there on St. Patrick's Day, they ordered that amount of alcohol for the Scots coming in, and they were selling out by 11 a.m. And they had to go to the store and buy 30 packs. And then the Scots said, we're just going to drink whatever's on your shelf. And they just drank them out of every liquor in there. Frangelico was getting drank at these bars. It was mayhem. They went to Fenway. They watched the baseball games. They had no idea what was going on, but they were singing Sweet Caroline and every other song. They were just having a blast.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And that goes back to the communal aspect. People love sports because it brings people together. These two communities had nothing in common, but by God, when they got out at 7 a.m. and were playing the bagpipes in the neighborhood, people didn't bitch. They just went out and partied with them.
Most supporters, in my experience, and I'm certainly one of them when it comes to this, most supporters want to mix. with other supporters. They want to meet other people that are knowledgeable. They want to shoot the shit. They want to take the piss out of each other's teams.
Yes, yes, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, no, the community thing. I have my fingers crossed for you. Now, the one thing that we haven't touched on here yet.
You're leaning in. This is a hard-hitting question.
No, it's what your day job is. The trial lawyering, right?
Yes, yes.
Now, so you're in Kentucky. Where are you in Kentucky?
Lexington.
Okay, Lexington. So Lexington's a fair-sized place.
About 330,000 people here. It's where the University of Kentucky is. If you ever heard of that.
I mean, that's bigger than a significant number of British cities. You know, that's fairly big. I can only think of maybe 5 British cities that are bigger than that. I'm probably way out with that, but certainly 5.
Right.
I'm not going to look it up. I could be wrong. I don't care enough.
5-ish is fine. Yeah, ish.
But yeah, that's a reasonable size. I usually compare cities to Norwich in the UK. It's a beautiful city. It's about 250,000 people.
Okay.
Statistically perfect. They have 2.5 murders a year.
Nice.
In Britain, you have one murder per 100,000 people per year.
Perfect. They just got to keep quota, man.
Well, the town where I'm from is statistically perfect. It has 10,000 people in it, and they have a murder every 10 years.
Oh, that's spot on.
So I moved out after 9 years, obviously, because I'm like, it's going to be me. But it's it's a reasonable sized place. So you must get your share of, awful people.
So the thing that's different about Kentucky and the United States in general than probably what you're used to is my office is in Lexington, but 95% of my cases are not in Lexington. So, for instance, I had a trial last week in a place called Hickman County, Kentucky. Hickman County is in Kentucky, so I'm still licensed to practice there. It is 5 hours and 5 minutes away from Lexington. So I got in my car and I drove 5 hours. I was still in Kentucky and stayed in a hotel for 2 days. We did a 2-day trial. It was fun. But I'm not here in Kentucky and in America in general. We travel, man. We travel. I think if I drove five hours from anywhere over there, I'd be in a different country or probably
you'd be in the water.
Yeah.
But that's very fair. That's very interesting. I was just thinking about. I worked on an article years ago. Somebody else had written it, but it's a beautiful article, and it was about the influence of moonshiners on the racing dynasties in the US.
Interesting.
And I cannot remember I found this beautiful cover photo, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like a NASCAR legend. This dude, and he and his predecessors had been moonshine runners, and basically they learned to drive by evading the police.
That's one way to do it, right? Trial by fire. Get out there, champ, and outrun these cops, and then take that. That's like a movie. That's Talladega Nights sequel, right?
So I've mentioned him before on this podcast, but my old flatmate Justin, he once stole a coach, like a 52-seater coach,
right?
And he managed to. The police chased him, and he managed to lose the police. Took it down all these country lanes and lost them somehow. God knows.
Unbelievable.
Then went back into town and stopped at the pub to pick his mates up.
In the coach.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Stretch limo treatment.
It's like, come on, lads, what are you waiting for? Jesus Christ, Justin.
I had a case last year where a guy, he's a buddy of mine. He wouldn't mind me saying it, but he was driving home, and he had 2 beers, and he came across the railroad tracks and was looking at his phone and had a little collision. And the issue was that little collision he had was with the horse-drawn carriage that was in the Christmas parade carrying 15 first graders and 2 pregnant teachers. and the horses start bucking up and down. It's the wildest show, the Christmas parade I've ever seen. But of all the luck in the world to hit a horse-drawn carriage carrying 15 first graders and 2 pregnant women, that's in law, that's what we call bad facts.
Could only be topped if the horses had been had horseback riders who were nuns.
Yes, nuns wearing Kentucky Wildcats jerseys. You would have hit all the stereotypes that we could have had.
That's beautiful. So Kentucky, that's in the what we call the accessory, known as the Bible Belt. Is that correct?
We're at the very northern part of the Bible Belt, so we're right under Ohio. Like Lexington to Cincinnati is an hour. Lexington to Chicago is 5 hours. Lexington to Louisville's Kentucky's biggest city. We're an hour, so we're right between Nashville and Cincinnati.
Okay, and it's pretty warm there.
It's warm. It's worse in the South. What gets us here is humidity.
But yeah, you have. I would say I really like drinks that come from places that are very warm, and Bourbon County is in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And bourbon and like people are really weird about whiskey, and I know this from personal experience. I'm sad to say. People be like, "Oh, you're putting a mixer in your drink, you fucking heathen," or whatever. But bourbon is a drink that is made to be drunk with a mixer and drunk long because it's ridiculously humid, and you stick ice in it and you just get drunk and cool down. Yeah.
Whenever you come visit over here, I'll take you on the bourbon trail. We'll go look at all of them.
Sadly, I'm sober these days, but I used to work on Whiskey Magazine, and I was lucky enough to get a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle while I was working on it.
Very nice.
That is a sensational drink.
Hard to beat.
Different. And I made the mistake. I met the guy who had inherited the distillery, right?
Oh.
I was at an event that we were putting on, and I met the guy, and he was lovely, just absolutely lovely guy. No interest in whiskey whatsoever. And I made the mistake of mentioning his distillery's whiskey to him, and he just fucking shut down.
Nice.
Just completely, I was dead to him. Before, we'd been chatting away about all sorts. I mentioned whiskey, dead to him. And then shortly after, he sold the distillery to Wild Turkey, I think.
Yeah, but Buffalo Trace makes Pappy, and
Okay.
But you calling it whiskey is like me calling what you call football soccer. We only call it bourbon here.
Okay. It is whiskey, though. You know that, right?
It's bourbon whiskey. Bourbon requires 51% corn to be used. And it has to be in an oak charred barrel. Otherwise, it's whiskey.
Whoa. White oak charred barrel.
Sorry. I didn't know we were getting racial on here.
Hey, you're the one from the South.
Fair.
But of course, I don't know how widely known this is, but those white oak barrels are then reused for single malt. Most single malt is aged in used bourbon barrels.
Yeah, and then it ends up being used for port wine. And then there's one distillery here in Kentucky called Angel's Envy that actually brings those port wine barrels back, finishes their bourbon in the port wine barrel, and the finish you get on the bourbon is actually a red wine taste.
It's interesting. Yeah, there's been a few distillers in Britain that have they've either taken the port casks or some have used sherry casks. And the influence that the cask has on the color is extraordinary. I mean, maybe they've monkeyed with it. I don't know, but I doubt it.
Right.
But yes, on the flavor profile, the sherry and the port casks, it's a massive influence.
Yeah. So we don't have to drink it, but if I take you on the bourbon trail, you'll see bourbon when it goes into the barrel is actually a clear liquid, and the only color it ever gets is from the wood. So all the color they can't add anything to it legally. So all the color you see in there is purely from the wood. And if you drink the clear shit, you're in for a day. See, we're not doing that either.
Yeah, we'd end up running moonshine,
Yes, we would.
driving those back roads.
Exactly. And then we could be NASCAR drivers. I think that's full circle, right?
Seriously, I know the tactics for NASCAR. Did you know this?
I didn't know that you knew them. No, I did not.
No, I know them. I watched it was an educational documentary called South Park, and a young driver by the name of Eric Cartman becomes a highly successful,
young coming upper,
a highly successful NASCAR driver. And I remember seeing a press conference of his where he sits there and he goes, "I'm gonna go left, I'm gonna go left, and then I'm gonna go left."
And you'll respect his authority.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
he's clearly the expert. So yeah, I respect his authority. I have got a question for you. It's a bit of a weird one, right?
sure.
So you're a lawyer,
Yes,
in Kentucky.
yes.
Now, in the world of fiction, there is an author that his name happened across my desk. And I don't know whether he's somebody that is read by legal professionals or whether they just look at him and say, "Pff." Are you familiar with the work of John Grisham?
I'm very familiar with the work of John Grisham. Yes.
And as a legal professional, do you read it and go, "Yes, that's exactly what it's like"?
Can't stand it, man. Same with CSI, Law and Order, Suits. It is. I imagine it's like what a surgeon feels like when he's watching ER. Like it is. It is so different than reality that I can't even stand to. I can't stand to watch it.
Okay, so
It is entertaining though.
I did a little project, right? And Fintan thinks I'm mental for doing this, which is fair enough. I probably am. But it was kind of sometimes I do things just to see what I can endure, right? For example, I just read the worst book I've ever read, and it was an omnibus of 7 books in one. It was 2,800 pages,
Okay.
and I knew within 50 pages it was going to be bad. And it got worse. It got so much worse.
You powered through.
No, it took me like a good 6 weeks. It was awful. But I'm like, you're not beating me. I didn't buy the sequel because it's 2,600 pages. The sequel was 3,800 pages. And I'm like,
and you're like, this author named Merriam-Webster could really use some work on how she's writing this book.
Yeah, like the plot's terrible, but it does explain each word as you go along.
Very descriptive. Very descriptive.
And I like that it's all in order. But so I did that. I also watched the whole of Gilmore Girls, including the specials. I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
But damn it, you're better for it. You're cultured.
No, I just know that I can endure now.
That's right.
And
next you can start watching professional baseball game.
I'm actually intrigued by baseball, but I've read all of Michael Lewis's books, and he often touches on baseball. I read John Grisham books until I found one that I didn't hate.
Which one? Which one finally got you off the wagon?
It was, and I can't remember what state it's set. It's set in one of the southern states for sure. The one that I didn't hate was. So I read a couple of his books many, many years ago. Or maybe I just read one. I read A Time to Kill years and years ago.
Right.
Probably when it first came out in paperback, so probably about 1990. And it was the sequel to that.
Okay.
It came out a couple of years ago. It wasn't horrendous.
What a compliment. You think he'll put that on the back cover?
Well, I would just have to say it's not terrible.
This book is not horrendous. Buy it now.
The 12 that I read up to then, I'm just like reading them. I'm thinking, this is just dull. It's a thriller with no thrills. It's just like, in one of them, this guy is just walking around and he's talking to people about buying an aeroplane. And I'm thinking, okay, John, what you're telling me here is that recently you bought an aeroplane and you wanted to share that whole process with us. Thank you. I
Isn't
appreciate that.
Fintan interviewing that guy right now on a podcast?
No, he's interviewing somebody that really does that and isn't dressing it. It's like, oh, I don't know. It feels like, when you go to a vet and sometimes you visit the vet and you feel like their treatment plan for your pet is based on the fact that they are ordering a new Range Rover and they want
Yes.
the one with the heated seats.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think that Grisham book that I read might be him saying, I know you're going to buy any crap I put out there. I want an aeroplane. So let's get this book done. Let's get a movie made of it, and I'll get my private jet.
I'll get my jet. Yeah, and you were holding out hope that the one group of people on earth that liked John Grisham was lawyers, and I just totally dashed that for you.
Yeah, I mean, I expect you all standing around the water cooler like, hey, did you read that new Grisham? Oh boy, did I ever! It really did sum up lawyering.
Yeah. What an accurate depiction of what we do every day. Wow, look at that John Grisham go. Yeah, no, it's the opposite, man. It's terrible.
But interesting. I'm actually going to be using Grisham as an example in an article I've got that I'm writing in the next couple of weeks, because I believe that John Grisham is responsible for the complete change in the perception of lawyers and how lawyers are represented in movies and on TV. Because if you look at movies with lawyers in through the 70s and in fact through most of the 80s, the lawyer is either the villain, or if they are the hero, they are a very particular type of hero. We're not talking an action hero. We're not talking somebody who's going to be great with their backs to the wall. We're talking about a moral hero, generally. We're talking about movies like The Verdict. We're talking about 12 Angry Men, although it's not really about the lawyers. We're talking about fucking To Kill a Mockingbird.
Right. Right.
We're talking about moral heroes. Now, post Grisham, the lawyer can be an action hero. The lawyer is your Matthew McConaughey, your Tom Cruise, etc. And honestly, that is down to Grisham.
That I had never thought about that, but that's not crazy at all. He may have changed perception with his terrible books. If nothing else, changed the way that people think about the lawyer. I mean, you're spot on now that I'm thinking about it. If you look at how lawyers portrayed in 2026, or even in let's just say the 2000s, compared to how we were portrayed in the 70s and 80s, even, it is a very, very stark difference. And nothing's changed. The field hasn't changed. There's a boatload more of us, but that's about it.
I mean, there's the law hasn't changed particularly. There's more of them.
There's more of them. Yeah,
but the fundamentals remain the same. You're working off the same constitution, etc. And it's I think it's fascinating that I genuinely think one man has created generational change, partly because and the way that book publishing works, once somebody has this success, people start looking for the next one of them. And so the next thing you know, you've got 20 authors writing, bestsellers about these amazing action hero lawyers.
And in what world do you end up being the guy that's writing the article about how John Grisham has changed how the world looks at lawyers? I'm interested in that.
Well, I'm actually writing an article about that gambling has an image problem. And how generational change can be affected without anybody realizing it. And I'm going to use Grisham as an example of that.
Interesting.
He's really the example of that. But I'm sure I'll think of others as I go along.
Yeah.
But it's
on that. I was at one of these conferences, and they like to get me up on stage because I'm kind of a unicorn. Like, I'm a lawyer that's in this field that's kind of been seedy for 100 years, right? So they like to get me up there and I guess just hear my accent, right? It's like I'm a carnival act. But one of the things was in the UK that gambling still has the stigma to it that has largely disappeared in the United States with legalized gaming here. It used to be here in the U.S., you were in a phone booth calling your bookie, or in your bathroom stall going to call your bookie. Now you're sitting at the Thanksgiving table with grandma talking about what parlay you're going to put in today. It's almost like marijuana. The stigma of it has been swept away so quickly here. But they say that it still exists in a lot of Europe, that there's a stigma attached to it.
Yes and no. I mean, you've got to remember that we've had legalized sports betting for centuries.
Right.
And I'm always saying to people that the one unique thing that the US has that singles it out from any other market for bookmaking, for sports betting, for gambling, is the fixation and the coverage of college sports, and that is a unique vulnerability in the US betting landscape. And I find that really fascinating, and how it was rolled out didn't think about kids at all.
Right. And there's a guy here at Kentucky. His name was Kerr Creasa. He got arrested about a month ago for what he was doing at West Virginia when he played basketball there. And they think it's all coinciding with people trying to get him to fix games. And, $1,000 to a college kid is a lot of money. And it doesn't matter if people are going to put 50 grand on the outcome, right?
College sports it's either going to have to become something that you can't legally bet on, in which case it moves underground, or it needs to turn professional.
Right.
And become a feeder league.
Yeah. And you also have these idiots online that will go tag 18 and 19-year-olds, telling them awful things because they missed a shot.
That blows my mind.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Absolutely does my head in. And you're the only country in the world where that's even possible. And
we embrace it. We own it.
Yeah.
We own it, man. We're here for it. We're here for it.
Think of the children. I am
American exceptionalism at its finest. Yes. Yes.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could go wrong? We'll just let a multi-billion-dollar industry hinge on whether this hungover kid that's just thinking about what tail he's going to get tonight is going to hit this free throw.
It's just nuts. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it is.
In every single way that you can think of, it's nuts. It just makes no sense whatsoever.
A lot of states have tried to outlaw, and not tried to, they have outlawed player props on college games. That's helped. Kentucky, we're still letting it fly. We're kind of, the Wild West of the Midwest here. Once they get player props out of college sports betting, that'll clean it up a lot. Then you're just looking at game level stuff, and that's a whole lot harder to fix than I'm going to go in and act like I'm hurt. Kentucky, most sports books in Kentucky did take away unders on college players. They only allow overs, so a guy can't go in and act like he's hurt because I think that the temptation was too great.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just, it needs... Hang on. So, kids, I'm upstairs. I'm going to be recording. Yeah, go past my door singing.
This is his big break. He hears my voice. He's like, that could be a Nashville recording artist. This is my shot.
Fucking hell. So anyway, Ryan, well, I'm going to wrap that up there. Best of luck with Staicy. Staicy.win. Staicy.win. So it's an app.
It's an app. We're in the App Store, Google and Apple. There's a bitch getting in the Apple App Store. Anyone that has an app in the Apple App Store, just give them a pat on the back, especially if it has anything to do with gambling. I thought I was going to have to chop a finger off and mail it to them. But we're in now. Stay in touch, man. I want to come back on here during football season. Let's pick a couple bets and roll with it.
I'd be really fascinated for you to come back on because the example I always use for this is SMS, right? Like Nokia were like, should we put this on? Should we not put this on? Is anybody going to use it? And that became the main driver for phone adoption amongst teens. And it was massive. I mean, it was just massive. Right. And it changed how we communicate. It's like no matter how you design something, it will be used in a different way when people get their hands on it. And I'd be very interested to see how this evolves.
I'm here for it, man.
And because it's going to be different.
The human psyche never fails to amaze.
What you mean is people never fail to disappoint.
People never fail to disappoint. That's right.
You're a lawyer, man. That should be on your T-shirt.
I have a lot of catchphrases I take into trial. The people that I'm representing are typically the ones that have allegedly disappointed, so I'm aiming the other way. Like, look, man, proof beyond
Can I just
reasonable doubt.
suggest when you get your next Range Rover, the one with the heated seats, you get a little bumper sticker that says "Thank you for disappointing your family."
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna, we have the just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty one out there. I like the thank you for disappointing your family.
Yeah, God bless America.
Thank
you, Ryan. Much
Thank you for having me, man. This has been awesome. Thank you so much.
If you've enjoyed this episode of the Gambling Files podcast, please find us on LinkedIn. Give us a big, juicy, succulent like. That nearly went wrong. You can find us under the name The Gambling Files Podcast. You can find us on Twitter under The Gambling Files. I think the handle is just @Gambling Files. You can connect to myself, John Bruford, or Fintan Costello, also on LinkedIn. We're also both on Twitter. And you can find all of our previous episodes at www.thegamblingfiles.com. If you enjoyed it, please share, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your colleagues, and we'll see you next time.